D, wait for it, delightful.
Check out the name tag. You're in my world now, Grandma.
What's up, nerds? So I watched Superman and Lois. I watched it last night, but I'm doing my review slash breakdown today just because, yeah, it was late and everything. I have to tell you right now, I liked this episode, and this was a very emotional episode, in my opinion. I mean, we learned a lot about the character of Lois Lane, and what she's going through emotionally, and about some stuff from the past, nothing like crazy like or whatnot, but just some emotional stuff. And then we also got to know some other stuff about the whole Kryptonian situation and how Clark goes bad. I don't think Clark is going to go bad on this world, but we shall see. You never know. You never know. I just think we'll get into that in a little bit. But before I get started on this breakdown, I just want to say that if you like what I do here and you enjoy independent content here on YouTube, please consider subscribing to my channel. YouTube is always changing up their algorithms, and small channels like myself, we always get pushed to the back of the line. So I please ask that you like, share, and subscribe, and I thank you in advance. So like I said, I really liked this episode, and we're going to get started on it. So it starts off with Lois in an office and everything. And a psychiatrist shows up and she's like, "Thank you for meeting me." And she's like, "Oh, you know how many times your father got my husband out of trouble at Quantico or some crap like that? I can't remember exactly what it was." She's like, "I've always got time for you." So she sits down and she's like, "What's bothering you?" And she's like, "I freaked out on somebody and I said some things that I shouldn't have." We've got to go back. She said, I said some things that I shouldn't have. And, I lost it, kind of thing. And then we go over to back to the farm. And this is right after they just kidnapped John Henry Jones, Irons and everything. So Superman Clark is fixing the truck. He's fixing the dent and everything. And Jonathan tries to give him the wrench to fix it. And he's like, no, I got it. And he has Jeremy hold the bumper, and then he like laser beams it on. So Jonathan's feeling like he's doesn't have anything to do, kind of thing. I love that jacket. Anyways. So then he's all, Clark is all like, "I'm going to go back to the DOD so we can start interrogating Irons." And she's like, "Have fun. I'm going to go check out his little, serial killer van." Jordan goes into the house. Jonathan's like, "Hey, Mom, can I come with you? Because, I don't have superpowers," kind of thing. She's like, yeah, come with. So they go into the RV and the AI comes on. And she's like, "State yourself." And she's like, "Lois Lane." She's like, "You are one of the approved people for my programming," or whatever she says. And so she's like, "Tell me about Jeremy Irons or Henry Irons." It's not Jeremy. I keep saying Jeremy. I don't know why. It's John Henry Irons. So then this computer pops up in the back, which I thought was kind of cheesy, but it's like, it's a CW show. I get it. It's fine and everything. I just want to see this RV transform into a sweet ass ship. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, it's like, and then it turns into a ship. That'd be cool. I don't think they're going to do it. Anyways. So then, this stuff about Irons comes up on the computer. So then we go back over to Lana Lang's house. I do not know their last name. It's like Esposito or something like that. That's a good last name, but I love that actor. Anyways, so they're sitting there talking, and the daughter Sarah's all like, "Hey, I thought you were doing that leadership program," and she's like, "No, it's over with." Edge has all the people that he wants. And the husband overhears, because remember, Edge asked Lana if she wanted to get her husband involved, and she pretty much said no. But and then he got that Asian woman, I can't remember her name, and so he overhears and he's all like, "What about a leadership program? I'd like to be involved." And she's all like, "Oh, it's already filled, honey. I'm so sorry," and everything. And then then Sarah gets a text from, I'm assuming, the theater teacher, and he's all like, "Hey, try out for the show," or whatnot. And they're like, "You should do it." And she's like, "No, you know how I get stage fright and everything." And then the dad's all like, "Come on, I'll get out the guitar and we'll play a little something, something and everything." Which I thought was cute that they were like trying to encourage her to do something, even if it's out of her comfort zone. I know that some people, like stage fright's a big deal, but it's always good to, and later on you'll if you watch the episode you'll see she has a very beautiful voice. Anyways, so then she's sitting up at the audition board, and ready. She's like, and then Jordan comes in because she's like sitting there contemplating or whatnot. And he's like, "You gonna try out for the show?" And she's like, "No, yes, I get stage fright." And he's all like, "I used to play piano, and then I got older and my anxiety went out of control. And so I had to stop. So then he's got this, and she's all like, I can't perform by myself. I need somebody there with me, kind of thing. So he was like, if you perform, I'll come watch you, kind of thing. And then he's like, I'm returning my football outfit, because they decided they're going to quit football for a little bit after what happened with Irons. So then she's, of course, contemplating signing up for the thing. So then Irons is having flashback of his daughter, and he's brought into this little room, and then Superman's like, how did you get here? And it's this moment where Superman from his Earth attacks his ship, and then I don't know where he's going because it looks like a red light. But he's like almost there, and then it doesn't show you anything else. So I'm like, it'll be curious to see if they do show anything else. So then he's all like sitting there talking. He's like, you destroyed my world, and he's all like, how do you know I'm going to do it again? He's like, how you don't know that I'm going to do it on this world? And he's like, it's already started here. Everything that happened on my world happened there, or is starting to happen here. So then she's learning more about, and he's like, I want to talk to Lois. And he's all like, she doesn't want to talk to you. And he's all like, long story short, he's like, you killed the woman I love and everything. So then we flash over here, and she's learning about Jeremy Irons, and then she finds out that she was married to him. And this is where he's all like, you killed the woman I love and everything. And he's like, and I'm going to kill you and everything. And then they find out they have a daughter, and her name is Natalie. And then she goes back to the thing, back to the psychiatrist's office. And this is, she's like, do you want to tell me what the fight was about? And she's all like, I can't remember what she says here at this part here. I can't remember. It doesn't matter anyways. I think this is the part where she's like, I freaked out, and I don't think I can take the things back that I said. And do you think that someone can judge you and change their opinion about you when you say something so mean? So she's talking to Clark, and she's like, he had a daughter, Natalie, and everything. And she's upset. And he's like, do you want me to come home and we can talk about this? And she's like, no, figure out what's going on with him. So then Jonathan overhears all of this, and he decides that he's going to do something. So then Sarah, she's hanging out, and her dad brings her a bunch of sheet music for musicals, which is very cool, I have to say. I love musicals and everything, and sheet music is just so interesting to look over. I know, big nerd. So then he's all like, he gabs out the guitar, and she's all like, all right, we can practice, kind of thing. So they practice, and he is going to play for her at her little audition. So then back at the DOD, General Lane's all like, yo, if you don't get anything out of him, I'm going to send in Trask, and Trask is going to torture him. And he's like, you can't torture people. That's not how you do it, kind of thing. No torture. And he's all like, well, if you don't get it done, I'm going to do it and everything. So then Jonathan goes into the RV, and he's looking over these pictures of his sister, Natalie, from the other Earth. And I thought it was very touching. He was like, hey, sis, I wish I would have gotten to know you. I thought that was so sweet. I was like, oh, that's so crazy. That's not his like a real sister, but he wants to know her. I think that's great. And then he sees the clip of his mother being killed by Clark, and he's like freaking out. So he goes to look for weapons. He opens up the closet, and this alarm goes off, and they're like, state your designation or who you are. And he's like, Jonathan Kent. He's like, you are not one of the people described out. You will be killed in 20 seconds. And then he's like, Mom, I'm stuck and everything. And so she pushes the button. She's like, Clark, the AI is going crazy. It's going to kill Jonathan. And Clark gets there, saves Jonathan just barely, and then she gets him out. And then this is Lois, when she's in the psychiatrist's office. This is what she's talking about. She freaks out on Jonathan. She's like, you could have been killed. I was scared. If you would have died, it would have been only your fault for being so stupid, kind of thing. She says a lot of stuff. She was like hardcore, and he was all like, what do you want me to do? But that's after he yells at Clark, and he's all like, you and Jonathan have powers, and Mom's this like super reporter, and I am like nothing. So I was looking for weapons, to protect myself, kind of thing. And he's all like, me and your mom are here to protect you. And he's like, I was an inch away from dying, and you barely made it. What happens next time when you don't? That's really sad right there, that phase. Like his mom is really hurting him with her words. And oh, I know what she said earlier. I'll say it when we get back to the psychiatrist. So she's all like, get out of my face, kind of thing. And he's like, are you okay? And she's like, I am fine, Clark. And she's all like, what if anything would have happened, yada, yada, yada. And so Clark's like, I'm going to go talk to Jonathan, kind of thing. And so then we go back to Daddy Lane. I don't remember his last name. And he goes to the Edge Corp, Ender Corp. I wonder why Edge Ender Corp. I wonder why they called it that. Anyways, so he's talking to this woman, and she's like, "We're so sorry that you turned down a spot in the leadership program. It would have been great to have you if you ever reconsider." And he's all like, "What?" kind of thing, because he was there to play a mixtape of him and his daughter singing. And so he goes in and he's pissed. He's all like, "Did you lie to me?" And she's like, "What are you talking about?" And he's all like, "Did Edge want me for the leadership program?" And she's like, "I don't know what he's like, that's his second in command." And she's like, "I don't know what she heard, but Edge didn't want you for the leadership program. He didn't think you were leadership material." Now she's lying to him. And I get why she's lying to him, but she should just tell him the truth. Just tell him what's due and just be like, "Listen, I think something's fishy with the leadership program, like hardcore fishy. I don't want you in it," and everything. She should just be honest with him, because it's going to blow up in her face later. It always does. So then he leaves and everything after she says that. So then General Lane goes in, he's talking to him, and he's all like, "Yeah, your buddy. He's like, "Why don't you tell me about, something?" I can't remember. He's like, "Why don't I tell you about how you died? You died a hero fighting that man who killed you," kind of thing. And he's like, "If you don't tell me, there's a guy in there that's going to do bad things to you if you don't tell me what I want to know," kind of thing. So then Superman's all like, and then he tells him, like, he's like, when the other Kryptonians show up, he joins them and he destroys that. They destroy everything. So then Lois is sitting here, and before she was talking about she talked about how her words can cut people really deep and everything. And so she's all like, "You want to tell me what it's about?" And she's like, "Jonathan got into a situation where he could have died. And I was scared and I said some things and everything." And then she goes on to talk about how she had a miscarriage. And they were going to name the girl Natalie. And this part was emotional for me, just because, like, as a parent and as someone that has lost a child, it was really kind of hard. This was the most emotional episode for me personally. And this actress, God, I can't remember her name off the top of my head, and I should have wrote all this down, but she did a really great job. I love her in this. I love all the actors and actresses in this show. They all do a really good job, but she was very upset, and it was very emotional. Anyway, so we go over to Irons, and he's being brought back to his cell. And Rossetti here gets stopped by Trask, and Trask is all like, "Why don't you let me take him for a little bit?" And he's like, "No, we're going to take him back to his cell like we were told." And he's like, "You know what your problem is? You follow the orders too much." I can't remember. He's like, "You know what your problem is? Nothing. Not anymore." And then he like slams them all over the place. And then he turns around and he's all like, "And your problems have just begun," and everything. So let me go back here. And she is talking about how her son was in danger. She could not handle losing another child. And she was talking about, and this part resonated with me also as a parent. She talks about how when you have children, they're like a piece of you. And she says, they're like a piece of your heart that you're sending out into the world exposed. And she talks about her miscarriage and how she blames herself. And the doctor is all like, "It's not your fault. People have sex, they exercise, they lift things, they do stuff in the normal, and none of that, contributes to a miscarriage. It's all about genetics." And she sat there and she was like, even though that's, true, she still can't help but blame herself. Like, it was her because she didn't stop working. And it was very emotional. I still feel it. It's really hard when you watch stuff like this, and what they say rings true because of your personal experience with that kind of stuff. So then we go over to the audition. We go over to the audition, and this kid's singing. He wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen, but like, I love how he's just like singing like he's like the next like Sinatra and stuff. And I'm just like, ugh. I'm like, I mean, like, you're not like bad, but you're not good. You're not good. So then Sarah's getting nervous because her dad isn't there. And Jonathan shows up and he's all like, hey, I really need to talk to you. I need you to be on my side. And he's all like, hey, whatever is going on, we're in this together, me and you. And I really like that dynamic. Listen, if you're a twin, that dynamic is so true. Like, I have a twin brother. We are like this. I love that kid so much. He loves me, I hope. I would do anything for him. Like, it's like, it's there's a situation, if he is 100% wrong, I'm still on his side, like no matter what. So then he sees the flower. Jordan brought flowers and he's like, what are those for? And he's like, nothing, just trying to be supportive. And then Sarah's all like, my dad didn't show up, I'm not gonna audition. He's like, I'll play, because he played piano way back in the day. And she's like, but you don't know the music. And he's like, I'll look up the chords, I'll just play the chords for you. Although he was playing a lot for just playing the chords. Like, I can play chords, and what he was playing, I was like, oh, that's a lot more than chords, my dude. So then they get up there. She starts singing, beautiful voice. She had a beautiful, I don't know if she really sang, this actress, but she did a good job. She has a beautiful voice. Anyway, so they're done with that. So then these two are talking, and they're discussing like irons and all that stuff. And he's all like, you does it ring true? I can't remember what he said. Shoot, I wish I would have wrote it down. Doesn't matter. Anyways. So then Irons is being taken by Rossetti to this little room, which is the 7734 turned upside down as hell, which is from episode 2, that little necklace that what's his face had, that Irons had, and then he gave to General Lane. They go inside, and this one, she's like, Trask is dead. 7734 has been open and everything. And he's like, you can't, he's like, I'm going. He's like, you can't go down there. He's like, it's a research facility he's like, that's where you keep your stores of kryptonite. He's like, it's also a research facility. We're testing laser guns, smoke canisters, smoke bombs, yada, yada, yada. And he's like, but he goes anyways. Rossetti puts on the mask, and then everybody's going in, but he sets off this little green mist and everything. And him and Superman start to fight. And then hold on. And then he takes off his mask, Rossetti's mask, and Rossetti and him start to fight because now they're both normal. They're both human. And then he takes him down. And then Rossetti, he's like, I'd love to kill you right now, but I got a mission to do. And then he turns around and gets stabbed by Irons. And then Irons is all like, out of all the weapons, this was my favorite to kill you people with, or something like that. I can't remember. And he goes to stab him. And Lois comes in. She's like, no, don't do it. She's like, and then she talks about how he's a hero. He's a good man. You're going to kill a good man, an innocent man. He's like, you don't know what he's going to do. And I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember exactly what was said, but she's all like, you say he's going to do this, but he hasn't done it yet. So you're going to kill an innocent man. And so he lets him go. And then these two are talking, and he's all like, okay, so the first thing that happens is, what's his face? General Lane is telling him about how they made all these weapons. And he's like, listen, he's like, I'm sorry you had to find out this way. And he's all like, he's like, Superman's pretty much like, the trust is broken. And General Lane is like, it's gonna take me some time to earn that trust back, but I'm gonna do it, kind of thing. And then Clark tells him that what Irons said might be true. And he's like, are you trying to tell me that Irons was right and everything? And he's all like, he talks about something about how transferring Kryptonian consciousness into human bodies, which I go, listen, just because you have a Kryptonian consciousness does not make you Kryptonian. It means you're a Kryptonian mind in a human body. So therefore you don't have superpowers. I don't get how that works. But then there's that Kryptonite X and everything. So we'll see how all that works out. Although I'm very fascinated with this whole thing. So then back at the thing, the leadership program or whatever, she's like, now I'm moving forward to making you your best selves. And she's listening to her, and she sees that she's hearing her or whatnot. And then we go back to the Lane house. He's been on a bender, and Sarah comes. He's like, Sarah, I'm so sorry. I got some bad news about a job opportunity, and I just needed to let loose and everything. And I missed your audition. And he's like, I promise. She's like, no, stop with your promises. So then back at the Lane, or at the Kemp farm, he's getting ready. These two are chit-chatting and everything. And I can't remember what they said, but Lois sits down with him and she shows him this picture. She's like, after I had you guys, I was pregnant and I had a miscarriage. Her name was Natalie. And she's all like, I'm really sorry about the things I said to you. You didn't deserve it. It hurt. And she's like, and after I'm so sorry. And she's like, can you ever forgive me? So touching. And so he's like, of course, mom, I forgive you, kind of thing, yada, yada, yada. So then Superman shows up with these two. He's like, you're just gonna let me ride out of here? And he's all like, yeah. But he's all like, I'm gonna change my mind about you. And he's all like, just because I didn't kill you doesn't mean I'm on your side, kind of thing. And he's all like, and Clark's like, there's a war coming and we need all the help we can get, kind of thing. And he's like, sorry. And he's just like, sorry, my allergies are just like really kicking in. And so Lois and him are talking, and I can't remember what he says here, but it doesn't matter. Anyways, I really wish that she would have said something like, one of these days I want to hear about your daughter, kind of thing. And so he's in there and she's like, hello, welcome back, Colonel Luther. And he's all like, delete the profile for Luther, put a new profile, John Henry Irons. And she's like, hello, Irons, or whatever. She's like, well, where to? And he's all like, why don't you shut down for a little bit? I want to drive a little bit. And then he drives off, and then that's the end of the episode. And like I said before, this was not only an emotional episode. We got to know a little bit about the state of what happens, like story-wise. And I love this show. This show is very good. This episode was good. I think that they're doing a good job with it, a lot better than any of the other CW shows. I think a lot of the time the other CW shows go off on these weird tangents and you're like, what is going on here? Like, I don't understand what's going on. But I think this show, we've got a clear cut storyline and a story arc. Even though from what I understand, this show was put together like almost last minute kind of thing, but it's very good. The writing is good, for TV and everything. The special effects for TV are good. Everything's good about this show. I really do like it. The RV thing is kind of like hokey, but whatever. It's fine. It's fine. You listen, I've always said this. If you could give me just a cardboard background and, a table and chairs, as long as the writing is good, then I'm all in. If they did the action sequences with action figures and did stop motion, I'd be fine with that too. I don't care. As long as the writing is good, then that's fine. Oh, one thing I do want to mention that we didn't get into was when he was talking about that consciousness thing, is the guy that died before episode 3, I think 3 or 4. He said that he wasn't himself, like he wasn't the person you knew or something like that. I can't remember exactly off the top of my head. And that's what it meant with the consciousness thing. Sorry, I should have mentioned that before, but I just remembered it. So that is my breakdown and review of this episode of Superman and Lois. Tell me, what did you guys think about this episode? Did you watch this episode? Did you not watch this episode? Are you going to watch this episode? Who's your favorite character? I really like Jonathan a lot. He's such a solid person. Was this episode emotional for you as it was for me? All that good stuff. Leave all your comments in that section down below. If you like this video, go and hit that like button. I won't mind. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. I will see you guys on the next Superman and Lois breakdown and review. You guys have a good week. Bye.